know our pens and our inks, what we're going to write on. And that's the different types of paper that we can use. Now, one of the inexpensive and great papers to purchase is actually just printer paper. Now, you need a specific type of printer paper, and this HP Premium 32 is really fantastic. It's much thicker and has a little bit of a coating on top, so your ink won't bleed. Now, if you get too thin of a paper, you'll find that it starts to feather and bleed, but this won't, and I use it all the time. You can print out guidelines even directly onto the paper and practice that way. Another type of paper that I love to use, especially when I'm practicing, is having a Rhodia pad. Now, some of you might already be familiar with Rhodia pads. They're great because they come already with these grid patterns on them. You're going to want the grid pattern in particular. Now, if you're just kind of, especially for practicing names or anything like that, they're really, really great to purchase. You can see I use mine all the time. Another great pad to purchase is something like this, like a rag marker paper. This one in particular is produced by Speedball, the Speedball company. And what's really great is that the paper is translucent, so you can put your guidelines underneath and you'll be able to see through them and then write on top. And then that way you're not having to print anything in terms of guidelines. Great purchase to make, especially for practicing. Now, if you're looking for a paper that could also potentially serve as a finished piece for something, I love most of the papers made by Canson. They're fairly inexpensive and you can get quite a lot. This kind of paper is really, really bright white. Now a lot of them don't technically come in, like an 8x10, it'll come in a 7x10. So if somebody's looking for an 8x10 piece, this is probably not your best bet. But again, also because it is fairly inexpensive, great to practice with, and it, this huge pack will last you a while. So those are just some of the papers I like to use when practicing calligraphy. Next up are some of my favorite tips and tricks when beginning calligraphy. You don't want to miss it, so be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.